Hi everyone, welcome to Before and After. We are here today. We're so excited. Have Lori with me today.
And Kevin Brooks, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Feeling good. Nice to see you. Nice to be in Southern California, and I'm digging your studio. It looks sick.
Thank you.
Glad that you like it. I am personally so excited because I've known you for not too long,
Yeah.
but I gotten to know your story, everything that you've been doing, and I just couldn't wait to get to know you a little bit more. I think everybody should know who Kevin Brooks is because you are so amazing all the things you've been doing. So the show is called Before and After.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to know you like even way before how your life changed, because everything that's been going on in your life.
Yep, and what you're doing today. So let's start off with before.
I grew up in Canada, grew up in Vancouver, sort of suburbs of Vancouver. Wild child, hockey player, skateboarder, snowboarder, punk rocker, troublemaker, for sure. Got kicked out of some schools, some trouble with the law, partier. There's a lot going on. I had a lot of fun, but I made a lot of bad choices. And yeah, I totaled both of my parents' cars before I even had a license. I was wild. And I kind of pulled it together. Like high school, I was a smart kid. I just didn't, I'd rather not go to school than go. If I went, I could do well. And I kind of pulled together. I got a girlfriend. I was really into her. She's straight A student. And just kind of was steering me in a better direction, I think.
Us women usually do that.
Right? Yeah. At one point too, I was okay, I was in court and they're like, you're going to go to jail or you can go to high school. And I was like, I think I gotta go to school. And I was like, this isn't so bad. All my friends are here. There's girls here. And yeah, I started, things kind of turned around, but that was still, I got my first vehicle and I was just driving fast, just doing stupid stuff. And I was partying and driving. And yeah, there were some warnings or some close calls. There's people kind of yo man, watch yourself, something could happen. And I sadly didn't hear those warnings or.
Yeah, you were just being a young guy, right? Just living life, having a good time.
Yeah.
And how did your life change?
So it was this big weekend where I have two younger sisters, Allison and Haley. So Allison, and I'm the older brother. I think I just said younger sister. So yeah, I'm older big brother. Allison's graduating high school on Friday night. It's June, the weather's turning. We're in California, in Vancouver, June. You're like, ooh, sunshine, sweet. It's kind of warm. It's not raining anymore, hopefully. So just good vibes. And then my youngest sister, Haley, was 5. She's in a dance recital that weekend. So hang with family, hang with friends, hang with Robin, my girlfriend, partying. It was just a great weekend. And Saturday, I was gonna chill and stay home, and just got a call. My sister Allison actually called me. It was her boyfriend's birthday, and they were having a party. And these were all friends I knew. They were a bit younger than me. I'd played hockey growing up with a lot of these guys, but I wasn't playing hockey anymore. So kind of just showed up, and it's what's up? Party's on, And the party kind of winds down. We're not winding down, so we hop in my car, and it was me, 3 hockey buddies that I'd grown up with. We go to the bar, we're drinking more. And I remember I was flying around in my car, you're trying to show it off to your friends.
Yeah.
And one thing I definitely remember, I'll go to my dad's. My parents are separate, I live with my dad. And I went in the garage and I'm grabbing beers. I'm basically taking my dad's beers. I'm 21, he would not have been impressed, but I would have got more. And that was that's what's going through my head.
Yeah.
But then I have this sort of pause where I was shit, you should just go to bed. Girlfriend's already not stoked on you because you slept in and missed plans.
It's funny you talk about, you brought that up before, right? Just follow that intuition.
It was there.
Oh,
Lily
the
always
gut
talks
feeling.
about this.
It was there. It was 100% there. And I'm
Talk a lot about that.
go to bed. Just call it a night. And I was whatever. And at the same time, my parents both, parental instinct, whatever, they were stressed every time I went out because it was nuts. But that night, they're just something. They just had this bad feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're calling me, and they're and I'm in, just what a jerk that they're we will pick you up, don't drive. And then I left the party, and I don't remember. And my buddies had called a taxi, and my friend Brendan actually got out of the taxi, got in with me, and we went to go to one more party, and we didn't make it. And
So you don't remember much?
I don't remember. The last thing I remember is vaguely being at that last party. I think I remember a red light, and it was like like basically like rights home, lefts partying some more.
Yeah.
You know, like a crossroad, and turned left. Went to go party. Was going probably like, I got to do the conversion in my head because I want to say kilometers. And I was like, well, actually it was a 70 zone in kilometers, which is about 45, 50 miles an hour. And I was going 110 to 130 kilometers an hour. So say like 65, 75 miles an hour. So I was going too fast, much too fast.
Residential area?
Yeah. So like excessively speeding, inexperience,
Yeah.
not like wild, drinking, impaired, like just,
Yeah.
you know, just everything. And missed a corner. Car went off the road, rolled a bunch of times. Brendan smokes his head. I hit my head. I don't remember. I don't know. I found out a lot of these details years later.
Yeah.
I actually met the paramedic who was first on scene.
Wow.
And some of the stuff she shared with me, I don't even share. I don't want to hear about it. Like, you know, a lot of doctors and nurses are like, you don't remember because your brain blocked it out. You didn't want to see what your friend looked like beside you.
Yeah.
My friend died beside me in the car.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's so, you remind me so much of with Valentina when she was killed, and same thing. I don't see much of that girl anymore. And she told me how when she opened her eyes, Valentina was hanging from the window, and then the other girlfriend that was pinned in front, they would tell her, whatever you do, don't turn around, when they were extracting her because they were taking Val out. And one of the paramedics actually talked about that with a friend of mine. I didn't want to hear about it either. That's how much blood there was from her head hitting so much that her hair was like stuck to the roof. So I get it. It's just so, those details. And I remember I talked to her, and she told me this stuff, and then I literally saw her one more time, and I never saw her again.
Yeah.
She got so traumatized by the whole thing. And then, so I understand. I feel like we do block those things. I think my situation, I have blocked so much that, and sometimes it just comes back at me. I'll get these flashes of things that happen, or especially after when I was going through my whole shock of the grieving, and a lot of things I don't remember, but I can imagine when they told you. I mean, so you learn about this after.
I like woke up in a hospital, and basically I didn't know why I was there. I didn't know I was paralyzed. I was in a drug-induced coma, so I was kind of in and out of that. I was having hallucinations, dreams that I was leaving the hospital and going skateboarding, and just it's so weird. You're out of it, right? I thought I was just, and then I'd go back and I'd get in my hospital bed, and that was just normal for some reason. I kind of thought I'd been in a crash. I had some weird dream where I'd like crashed and killed someone, but I thought it was someone else.
So how long were you in the hospital for?
It was almost 2 months. I was in like the hospital. I think I was in intensive care for almost like 4 or 5 weeks. I was drug-induced coma, out of it for about 2. Woke up, tracheotomy, no voice, strapped to a bed, paralyzed, don't know what's happening. And then they started weaning me off the meds, and I started to become more aware of what's going on. And I started asking questions. And my mom took the summer off work. You know, you're both moms, right?
Yeah.
What do moms do? Mom's by my hospital bed every day. My mom learned to read my lips. I didn't have a voice.
Wow.
And I just was, one day I was just like, why can't I move? I was like, yeah, shit to break that news, you know. This is so many years later. I can't believe I'm choking up right now, but like.
Tell me a little bit more about what Wiggle Your Toes. I remember there's a story about that.
Well, we'll say like, yeah, she told me first I was paralyzed, and then I thought that was the worst thing you could ever learn. And then I learned about Brendan, which is.
And what happened with Brendan?
Brendan died in the car. He hit his head. There's no way of saving him. They basically, the paramedic who I met, which I have the utmost respect for any first responder, because like, she's a mom. I talked in her kid's school, you know, like he came home and talked to her, and she's like, I was there that night. She was in my car, and she shouldn't have been in my car. Like, she went above and beyond. Like, that car could have blown up, could have caught fire, like, and they basically had to go like, who has the better chance of living?
Wow.
And then she had that on her conscience.
That she
had to make that choice.
Yeah.
And then she was always thinking, did I wish she had to save Brendan and let me die? She was living with that. And when we saw each other, she was like, she got that closure, and we're still friends. She comes out, watches me speak.
Wow. So did your mom tell you that he didn't make it?
My mom told me both those things.
Oh, she was
My mom was a tough lady. Yeah. But she was sitting on that, waiting, you know, like she knew.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time before she had to.
They wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
you were going to survive
Totally.
first, I think.
Yeah.
They were not saying. It was like,
Yeah.
don't say anything around them. Like,
Yeah.
let them.
Same thing
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
with us, right?
yeah,
They
that's-
wouldn't. Valentina's friend that wanted to survive because she's the one that wanted to go to the party. Same thing. She told me they wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me nothing. They
Yeah.
would wait until I got the liver surgery or the surgery she had. And then one day she said she just asked, he goes, where's Valentina? Because she kept asking. And then she kind of like, she said she felt it. And she said, she's sleeping, isn't she? And they're like, yeah, she is. And she said she just threw this loud
Yeah.
just scream when she found out that Valentina had passed. But I can imagine in your situation that I didn't know how deep, because I've heard you speaking at schools and, you know, and everything, but thank you for sharing that with us because that's like so deep and I know it's so personal. So tell me now a little bit about, okay, so the day that you get out from the hospital, you were telling me.
It took a while. So it was about 2 months. I was in the hospital, and then I had to go into a rehabilitation center, and they're like, "You're gonna work really hard, and you get to be in a wheelchair," and it was really weird.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're gonna learn to dress yourself." I'm like, "I know how to dress myself, but you can't. I can't roll over in bed.
Wow.
I can't sit up. I couldn't do anything. Like I was helpless, paralyzed from the chest down. And then on top of that, I've killed my buddy, so that's weighing on me. His family from the start were super supportive. Like they're at the hospital. They're saying prayers for me at his funeral. They got a donation set for me at his funeral.
Wow.
So that support, I gotta say, like that that gave me like, okay, they're with me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I can try to figure this out, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, like they gave me that. And then one day my mom was like, here's their phone number. They're ready for your call when you're ready to make it.
That's awesome.
But that's the hardest phone call I've ever made.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they invited me over to their house. And that was the hardest. Like you're looking at pictures and you're like,
Yeah, definitely.
he's not going to be any more pictures. They were cool. They were so nice. And yeah, it's sort of been in my mind. Like people are like, dude, you got to go talk to kids, especially you. Like you're the freaking, you are like, you know, like the high risk kid.
Yeah.
So maybe you can get through to those people. And I ended up like meeting this guy who rolled the circumference of the world. His name's Rick Hansen. He's a Canadian hero. He was like, you should do a fundraiser for us. And I'm like, all right, like I gotta do some good stuff. I'd had a moment at a lake with my little sister Haley, I have tattooed here, where she ran and jumped in the lake and I sat there on the sand and was like, oh.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, I gotta come back to this lake one day. You should do a fundraiser. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go swim this lake. And we got a bunch of volunteers. We trained for 6 months and just did this fundraiser, and I got invited to speak in a school about it.
Oh.
And then there's another school, and there's another school.
I
And
know
I
how
was
it goes.
terrified to do it. But then the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, where I live, heard about me, and they were like, we need you in high schools. And they put me in, and they have a full speaker program.
Awesome.
Like that, I probably do 60 plus schools with them this year alone in British Columbia.
Now, was that,
But that's how it started.
that was about to say, is that what started Just Wiggle Your Toes?
That's how it started. And the Just Wiggle Your Toes thing, one day, I remember like being terrified of public speaking. Like I get in front of my class in school, I'd go beet red, I'd be trembling. I probably just wouldn't even go to class half the time. Regardless if I had to speak or not. But I remember like the night before I had to do like a big one. Like my first high school is gonna be like 600 kids. And I'm like, 600 people, that's so many. And I'm like writing it out and like, I'm like, I can't read this. Like I have to, this is gonna screw me up if I even try to do it that way.
Yeah.
So I went out, kind of got sent a bit of a calm before and like just told it. And I don't know, the kids responded.
How was your calling?
It was very organic. Like it just kind of changed and I got more comfortable. There's a lot of stuff I wasn't comfortable sharing in the beginning. Definitely. And then as I went on doing it more, you realize the more vulnerable you are, the more honest you are, the more raw you are, the more like,
The more lives you're
impact
changing. Yeah,
you
the more
have,
lives you're
right?
changing, definitely.
But just one day I was like, yeah, I'm in the hospital and I couldn't move my legs and I couldn't wiggle my toes. And I just saw the audience go like, I was like, did you just wiggle your toes? And they're like, kind of like, ugh, like.
yeah, they wanted
felt
that,
bad.
like, wait a minute.
They
Like,
did.
let me look at my toes.
Yeah, and I was like, no, it's cool. That's sweet, right? And then his name is Gord Cooling. I want to give him a shout out because he passed away, sadly. He was a great dude from ICBC.
Yeah.
Always championed me. And afterwards, he was like, that wiggle your toes thing, like, you got to keep doing that. There's something there.
Yeah.
I didn't And I was like, all right. So I just did it the next time. I did it the next time. And it just, yeah, next
That's
thing.
how I met you.
Yeah. Like a student got a tattoo. And then like that was
No,
like.
a student
Yeah.
got a tattoo.
It's all my social media tags. Yeah. It's like.
It's amazing,
That's the
right?
thing now.
And I think that's the most amazing thing is that it's something that just came from your heart and you just said it.
It totally just blurted it out.
I think that when we're public speaking, as you say, it has to be just like at the beginning, I didn't know if I should read, what should I do? And then, and I speak fast because I'm Latina.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I start reading, I'm going to like, forget about it. So I try just like to, pause and try to be as slow as I can when I'm speaking. But yes, it's share my heart. And I think you always share your heart for what I've seen.
You got to come from the heart for sure.
I really feel too that one, it helps with the grieving process. I mean, you're
for
going to be
sure.
grieving. I think we'll be grieving for the rest of our lives
Yeah.
for our loved ones and your friend.
Yeah.
But also what you have lost. You lost the ability to walk, right? You see other people and you're like, I can't do those things.
I try not to think like that though. Like I have this weird kind of like, I don't know if it's weird or what, but for me, it's like my friend died, like something had to happen.
Yeah.
There had to be some kind of repercussion. And if this is it, then this is it. And that, I think I remember like starting to feel a bit and being like, I'm not ready
Yeah.
to heal. I need to learn something here. I wanted something so I was like, this is what it is. But if this is what it is, then I'm gonna make this pretty rad. But this is what it is. So I try not to look at that. I do have that,
Yeah. But
You know,
you are
I go by a
changing
skateboard
so
park.
many
Like
lives.
I still want to go drop in and do some stuff. Or
But you still do some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
I
you
still go to
do.
a skateboard park. Yeah.
You do it in different ways. Tell us some of the things that you have been doing since you've been now. Like,
I mean,
what
I
are
was
the
at a
things?
punk rock show last night in Long Beach. That was dope.
Every time I talk to him, that's what he's going to another punk
I
rock
go to a lot of
show.
shows. I love being in Southern California. There's lots of shows. I've done some crowd surfs. I'm not doing so many of those anymore. The last one I did was in Norway at Guns N' Roses.
Oh, that's awesome.
It didn't end that well. I kind of bailed, but but yeah, I do. I mean, I have a hand cycle at home. I try to get on that and ride. I'd love to get it down here at some point. I got to move down here. Really, that's what has to happen.
There you go.
Yeah.
Downhill biking. I do comedy. I've got a book out. I do some acting. I'm not a good actor.
This did not stop you, though. This did
No,
not stop you.
you
You
know
are
what's-
definitely making a difference in people's lives. How do you feel like when you go out there and you speak to these 600 kids? Like, what does that make you feel like?
I love it. Like in it, and like you were saying, like, I think you were like, it helps with the grieving.
Yeah.
Like you got to find purpose. I don't know where I'd be like mentally, emotionally. I might not even be here if I didn't find
Same
something
here.
to channel
Yeah,
us
that's
into.
how I feel.
It'd probably be a dark place. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then now, like, and I even say this, I'm like, because I talk about mental health and do
Yeah.
suicide prevention, and I'm like, there's so many people who are struggling with their mental health, and a lot of people don't want to reach out. And I didn't reach out. I make a little joke. I'm like, I didn't ask to talk to a counselor. I was laying in a hospital bed paralyzed. They sent a counselor in. I couldn't run away, so I had to talk to the counselor. But it came out. Like, I got it out. It felt
Yeah.
good. And I'm like, it's still, I've said that. I'm like, you guys are basically my counselors now. Like, in
Yeah.
a sense, you didn't sign up for that. I'm sorry. I hope it's cool. Like, it's doing something with it. It's getting it out. And if you can turn trauma, pain, loss into something positive, then it's not just negative pain. It helps move forward. I mean, it's always there. Like you've lost your loved ones. I lost a friend. I mean, I can drive by that spot. I drive, like, can't control, but I can go by that spot any day. I can remember, like, and for me, it's often like the best times when I'm just so happy, loving life. And then I'm like, like Brendan's not here. Like his family doesn't get to do that with him.
Yeah. But you've dedicated your life to making sure that he didn't die for nothing.
For sure.
That you are going out there and you're sharing his story. And I think Lily and I have dedicated our lives to making sure nobody ever forgets,
Yeah.
Valentina, and nobody ever forgets Bethany, because their lives were definitely cut short.
Yeah.
They were all young. And I think everything that we do makes sure that their memory lives on, their death was not in vain. And I applaud you for what you're doing. It's hard to relive our stories. It's hard to relive your story. Just being here today, like you said, you're tearing up. It makes me tear up because I know I've shared some things that are very personal. I was supposed to do Bethany's makeup for her wedding, and I did it for her funeral. And those are hard things to talk
Yeah.
to people about. And but when you say some of the things you're talking about, you're really making an impact on these kids' life, and you probably changed the decision in them going and drinking and driving in that moment when you start sharing those things. So I really think that that's so important. Thank you so much, for doing what you do.
I'm grateful I get to do it and look forward to working together and
No,
doing it more and
definitely.
doing some cool stuff.
Can you share with us an aha moment? I know you probably had so many.
A
but
which?
just a moment where you really like, wow, you feel like you know.
aha moment.
I've had a lot. Like I just this week's been this year's been so busy. This week, Monday I spoke in New York, upstate New York. Wednesday I spoke in Katy, Texas, which is basically like Houston.
Yep.
I wasn't even there 24 hours. I flew here. I spoke in Burbank 5
Burbank.
times in the last 2 days.
They did book the heck out of him. in Burbank.
So I'm getting a lot of messages from students. And I got one yesterday from a parent actually who was like, thank you. My daughter got in the vehicle after school, hopped in the car, started crying. It's their prom this weekend, and was like, I understand now why you don't want me to drive this weekend.
That's awesome.
It's stuff like that. And
Wow.
or the suicide prevent, like I actually had a kid come up to me once, hand me a razor blade and their suicide note. Crying and go, thank
That's
you, you
amazing.
saved my
Hard.
life today. Yeah.
That makes me
So
tear up.
you talk about everything. Tell us one of the subjects. I know you talk about suicide prevention.
Yeah.
What other subjects do you talk about?
I cover a lot. Like I've learned, I mean, I'm 44 years old. I grew up with a lot of pretty interesting characters. Wild, we're all wild, right? Like
Yeah.
my buddies. So I've lost friends. Like yesterday was the year anniversary. My buddy Tim died. And I love that. That was my best buddy in high school.
Wow.
And that was
How did he
drug
pass?
related, heart attack.
Okay.
And I don't know. He had a rough go with that. I talk about fentanyl awareness, opioid awareness, drug awareness. I've had a buddy who was shot and killed. I talk about violence. Buddy who killed himself. Buddy who smoked a joint that had fentanyl in it. Did he put it in? Did someone else? I don't know. But I'm trying to all these things that are a threat to kids' health, safety, lives. I'm trying to touch on everyone because I have them. They like me. It's kind of cool. I didn't think I'd ever do this that long, but I just keep getting tattooed and wearing punk rock shirts and looking like a skater, which is all I want to do. I'm like, this is how I want to dress anyway. Dope. I don't have to wear a suit ever. It's still on their level, but I can everything I can get them with.
That is awesome.
I want to give them every single message.
Did you ever
Awesome.
think that you would be doing this?
No.
If you look back, right?
Yeah.
What you're like, here I am today.
No, well, this is I have this moment sometimes. So at the end of the presentation, I show a video. It's maybe 7 or 8 minutes long. Everyone's into it. And I have a little bit of time to kind of, hang out, whatever I'm going to do. There's stuff going through my mind. Prepare to end. I always try to mix it up so it's not always it's not verbatim, right? But that sometimes at that point, I'll remember being in the hospital bed and just being your life is over. Pull the plug when no one's looking. You killed your buddy. You're paralyzed. It's never going to be better. Just quit,
Yeah.
And I'm if I could have seen this now, it blows my mind what has happened since.
Yeah.
And there's some cool stories where students have I'm walking around in an exoskeleton suit right now, this new company out of Vancouver called Human in Motion, because a student saw me and reached out to them.
Oh, wow.
There's a Netflix show coming out soon. I got a little part. I started acting because a student who saw me as a casting director and reached out and put me in a hip hop video, stuff like that. So there's these full circle. In the book, there's a student who was suicidal. She's a counselor working with kids. It's cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he's with you, guiding you? Do you ever feel that with you?
I know every time I speak, there's chairs on the stage. Empty chairs.
Yeah.
There's 4 or 5 now. It all depends.
And what are those empty chairs
For
represent?
a buddy who's died.
Every person that's
Yeah. Wow. And that started because a student was when I was pretty early on, he's this gonna sound really weird. Your buddy Brendan was here today. I felt him. I saw him.
Wow.
And then I just started putting out a chair. And I still have students. They're there was some energy. There was someone there. So
Totally.
I feel they might be there sometimes. They might be.
No, I do.
I had a dream where he was yo, dude, it's cool.
Yeah.
I
know?
do feel like that. That's. I remember when I was my first day at work, and I had to and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And I left, and I went and parked my car under the Beverly Center where nobody could see me, and I was just like sobbing, like I couldn't believe. And I remember, because I take her to school every morning, so I am touching the seat, and I'm just feeling her, knowing, I'm like, you are not gone, you are not gone. I'm never gonna let any parent go through this pain, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna let anybody go through this pain. And I touched it, and I felt it. And within not even a month, I'm speaking at my first school. And I spoke when I've never ever spoken to, like you said, like all these kids in front of me, like, and I was like, who's driving?
Yeah.
Who wants to drive? And it just came out. And like you said, I do feel like Brandon's guiding you, like I feel like Val is my my boss.
And it's
I do.
funny that you said dreams, because I did have a dream about Bethany, and I remember I thought to myself, like, is she okay with what I'm doing? You know, am I doing enough for her? Am I really like representing her, making sure that she didn't die for nothing? And I was double asking myself, like, what should I be doing? Like, what else can I do? And I remember I had a dream about her, and it was so funny because she's in upstairs in a house across the street from my house. And in my dream, she's in the window and she looks at me and she waves at me and she's laughing, and I can read her lips of what she's saying. And she's like, I love you, Thea. Good job. I miss you. I'll see you soon. Keep up the good work. And I cried so hard. But it's really driven me to continue to help, to know that, we are saving lives. Like what we do, we are definitely saving lives. And you're saving lives every day. Every time you go out there and you talk to these kids, you're doing such a great job.
I'm glad that we met. I'm glad you are. I'm glad I am. I love, and we all meet through this purpose and cause too, right? So
Yeah.
you find people who are just like, their heart, we're doing this
I
together.
feel like our loved ones met upstairs.
Yeah, they're
I think
hanging out, they're looking
Brandon,
down,
they're like, okay, we're
"These
going to
guys are getting
introduce
along
them.
pretty good."
We're going to introduce them. They need to meet because
Yeah.
they need to work. We call them our bosses, aka our bosses.
Yeah, they're bossy when they were little too. Yes,
Yeah.
and they're bossing us around. It's one of the things that I feel like, I feel it because I have to, I'm an interpreter by trade. And I used to have like, when I had like really a far away appointment, like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to get up early. But when it's something about SRK, I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm pretty sure you feel that way. Like anything that has to be with this, you're happy to do it, right?
For sure, like, yeah. And I've said this too, like, people are like, must be so hard to do that. I'm like, I've had days where I'm like, this is going to be really hard to do this today just because there's other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I've never gone in and done a talk and left feeling worse than when I went in.
Oh, awesome.
Ever once.
So what do you have now? So book, organization. Like tell us a little bit about everything.
I was trying to get a nonprofit going, but it just didn't pan out. That was a bit ago, so I still haven't done that. But I mean, book, and just going hard. Acting, comedy. I've been doing comedy about 6.5 years, so that's really fun, and it's kind of nice. It's like, I'm pretty demented, like I always have been. Like it's funny, like
we'll have to check him out.
Still a
I think
punk.
I'm
Like,
demented myself. I
I'm
never
still
told myself
like
that I like
dude,
it.
You know what I mean? So it gives me a little break to just kind of go out and just
And how can people find you? Where do we?
look me up. If you want to look me up, Just Wiggle Your Toes is my Instagram, my TikTok, kevinbrooksspeaker.com, and then all the links are there. YouTube link, all the social media links. Check me out. I'd love to be a part of any of your events. Reach out.
Definitely.
I let everyone back myself. I'm always down to help anyone out, and there's a lot of links and stuff through that I have as well, just for I don't know, all kinds of things.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Let's.
You just, I just want to talk a little bit about, just throw in there, because when we had lunch once,
Okay.
the first time I was going to meet you in person.
Okay.
And
I made you eat that vegan
he
food?
picks a vegan
You liked
restaurant.
it, didn't you?
And I'm like, I was like, well, try this one better. You're going to like it, Lily. By the way, so I'm like,
Lily
yes, I
doesn't
did.
like it.
And one of the things that made me laugh at, because I was talking to you, I was like, why are you vegan? And can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think that's awesome.
Why he's vegan? Okay, I want to hear this.
It was
Why are
awesome.
you vegan? I would
Yeah.
love to hear
The
this.
vegan thing was like, it was very much to do with like punk rock. A lot of the bands I listened to are like vegan, and the lyrics, I'd be sitting there eating like a burger and listening to this, and I'd be like, oh, I feel bad. And I have friends who are vegan, and I'd go out and go for like a vegan dinner, and I always feel really good.
Okay.
And I was just kind of more conscious of my health, trying to eat more vegetables and fruit and healthy
Yeah.
stuff. And then, just one day I was like, I'm going to do this. And if you want to go vegan, just watch. There's a few documentaries I can recommend them that make you not want to eat meat anymore. For I mean, for me mostly it's I love animals, and once you go vegan for a while and you stop eating animals, you kind of lose that disassociation. Like,
Yeah.
I look at a cow and I'm like, I want to pet that cow. I don't want to kill it. Like the same way you look at a cat or a dog or any kind of animal, right? So
True.
it's like, it's an inner peace that everything feels connected and there's like balance in your life.
After he told me all of this, I was just like, I went home and I somehow, it's like I called it and I'm just going through my Instagram and I, a thing about a cow playing with a ball. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So wait, are you gonna go vegan now?
So I haven't been eating beef. I've been
Okay.
very good about it. And I don't say I don't eat beef. I say I don't want to eat a cow. That's
Yeah.
what I've been saying. That's helping me to transition, hopefully,
Cool.
to that because I
Wow,
really,
look at
you really
that.
made a difference just
Oh, I love that.
in many ways. But didn't you tell me next time I see you when we hugging a tree? I remember you told me that.
But that's amazing. That's so cool. I'm glad. And there's so much good vegan food out there now too.
What's your favorite vegan meal?
I cook a lot, so I love cooking when I'm at home.
Okay.
So I mean, and I'd probably say because there's a lot of there's a lot of like vegan junk food that's really good. So you can do like burgers that taste just like a burger, or like chicken
Yeah.
burgers that taste pretty much just like a chicken burger, or whatever, right? But at home, I don't know. I make a lot of like just different like ethnic foods now. So I'll be like
Nice.
making like I make pho, I make Indian food
Oh my
sometimes.
gosh, you're gonna have to cook for us one day.
I would love to.
Yep.
I could
We're gonna
maybe
take them
can I
up
use
on
the
that.
studio, my own cooking show.
There you go.
I do like a
That's your next thing.
spaghetti
Look.
bolognese with lentils instead of meat, instead of beef. It's really good.
So I didn't mean to change the subject about the vegan, but see, guys,
That's cool.
we get to
You
talk
learn
about
something
everything
new,
here and
yes.
get really to know and Kevin.
Before I was a meat eater. Now
you
I
go.
am.
I love that. No, it's awesome. No, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time because I know you did all those schools the other day, and we're supposed to do one, and that one canceled.
Yeah.
Move the thing and being, just helping us out for you being here. When are you going back?
I'm not home until next Friday or Saturday. I haven't booked a flight home yet. I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants. So I'm like, go home and see Doug Stanhope do comedy, or fly from Arizona to LA and catch a band called the Mariachi El Bronx that are my buddies.
Awesome.
Playing some Cinco de Mayo stuff.
Okay.
So, but I'll be home Friday or Saturday. I'm in Saskatchewan next week and Arizona speaking. But I'm happy to be here. Like, I love you and you're awesome. I love you. Like, I just met you, but like, seriously, from the time I met you, felt connected.
We did.
And we're friends, like, above all, like, friends, and we're doing this
Yes,
cool
definitely.
stuff. So
We're gonna be friends. Don't worry.
we're buddies too.
We're buddies.
Yeah, I
100%.
remember we were doing the.
If you're cool with her, we're cool. And we've chatted.
Al and
we're
Al.
cool.
Yeah, Al and Al. This is
Yes, I
Lori and
remember
Lily.
that.
Yeah, we all got to go for vegan food now. You're next.
I'm more than willing to try new things.
Yes, no, it's funny because we were doing that, and it was a virtual with, was it there?
It was SAD, I think. SAD,
It was
California.
sad. And we ended up somehow in the same room or something talking, and right away, I'm like sending messages, hey, he's sending me. So yeah, it was awesome. I feel like a lot of things happen for many, many reasons, As Valentina used to say, my daughter, I think the one says, Valentina, she says, things don't just happen for a reason, sometimes life just sucks. Which I believe. Sorry, did I just curse? I'm
You
so
said
sorry.
sucks. I think sucks is
Can
cool.
we say sucks?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, okay, sorry. Because we were thinking I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
she said that.
Actually, I want to get a tattoo that says life doesn't allow you to be weak, because we've been through so much, and that was
Yes.
just something that I think, it doesn't allow you to be weak, and that's why we're here today, because we are strong people, and we've been through very tragic moments in our life, but we're turning into something positive. Look at
Yes.
this.
We are doing something positive.
Oh yeah, this is like
Right now, we're doing something
this
positive.
is like our life.
Yeah, I know.
Your life, my life, our life, and let's
Yeah.
make it whatever we're doing with it.
We can
and-
smile again.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that's what I
Smile,
always say.
laugh.
That
Yes.
And
Yes.
like,
And crying.
go to concerts.
go to concert, appreciate moments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you find your calling through something you wouldn't think you would find a calling through.
No.
yeah.
I try to sound that as a message, like to follow your heart, your passion, and do, like you were saying, you don't ever, you're like, whoo, you're up.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this. You can work 20-hour days because you want to.
Feel the same
No
way.
one's making you. Like, you want to do this. Like, your heart's behind it.
I'm happy
And then,
every time.
Yeah.
Every time I do, every time we have any presentation, anything. Today, I can't wait till today. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And the reason why, before and after was created because I met so many wonderful people like
Yeah.
you, like Glory, and I started seeing like, oh wow, these are people just like me. Like we all changed.
Yeah.
Something really happened to us, and we ended up, changing. So it changed our lives, and now
Definitely.
this is the after.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful after in a way.
Yeah.
Because look how life changing it is.
Kevin, any last words from you before we sign off today?
Just want to throw it out to everybody to, just wiggle your toes if you were inspired, if you wiggled them at any time during this. I like that is, I think, for a takeaway for what I'm doing, if anything positive, the messaging, that's a little back pocket, a little reminder to whatever.
Yeah.
Appreciate the day, appreciate the little things, make good choices, drive safe, be a good human, be kind, don't eat cows.
I love it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for being with us today and all the way from Canada and coming over here. We really, really appreciate it. And sharing your story and everything is just amazing, so heartfelt. And you guys are out there watching. Thank you so much. And if you want to support us and get to know a little bit more about Street Racing Kills, follow us at streetracingkills.org.
And to see more episodes of Before and After, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.